Okay, in this clip, we're going to talk about some of the concepts between overbought and oversold options. I've referred many times to overtrading, and this is important because quite often rallies, they get a little bit excited, and whether they're going on the up or if they get nervous, they're going on the down. Either way, an intense rally does put your investment at risk. Now, every security has its safe trading limits, and you should watch and learn what are the safe limits for the securities you have or you intend to trade in. And the market analysis techniques, which I'm showing in other clips, will help you to identify those and to see them. Okay, so when is it overbought? Well, sometimes it's very obvious, but it's also very easy to ignore. Methods: RSI, moving average, KSI, all methods that I've covered in other clips because they're too big to put into this one. Take a look at them. They show trends and they show patterns, and you can use that to analyse if a stock is overbought or oversold. Okay, if a large rate of change occurs, often it's good. I personally prefer a 30% for my investment. That fits with my pattern. You'll need to find one which fits with yours. I also use a lot of news and just general information about companies that I'm interested in. But these days I'm investing mid or long. I used to do day trade, but that's not my style now. If it's a small company, then a 30% is reasonable over a 12-month period because they have, well, either rapid growth or rapid decline. So yeah, that's reasonable. I also like to use a spreadsheet, and I produce a heck of a lot of graphs. If I'm doing an RSI graph, remember to set the upper and lower limbs for that particular trade. Okay, another important thing is don't just pick one time period sample. I'm going to produce a clip over how to select different time periods, but you should select multiple and then do a comparison between them. It depends on the type of trader that you want to be. If you're doing, you just need to make sure that you select multiple periods. This will show the overbought and oversold condition. Another thing to consider is don't only look at share price, but look also at the volume of shares that are being traded. That can tell you a hell of a lot of what's going on. So, if your security is running overbought, do you sell? Maybe. You could change it from I bought this on a short and then decide to hold for the rally. You can cash in. It's a tough decision. Again, the factor is in the time delay between you talking to your broker and then talking to the runner. But also factor in the trading times of the market. If you're doing international trades, what time zones are they on and when do they open and when can they trade? All markets are driven by human emotions. If people feel good about a security, they buy and the price goes up. If they feel bad, they sell and the price falls. They cut their losses. Now, if you're a brave investor, when people are cutting their losses, is that a time to buy? Could be. You could buy at a low price and hold on to it until the price comes back up. But you need to do your research. It's really important. If the company is stable with a fall in price, it could be a good opportunity for you. Okay, an overbought Oversold, sorry. It might be the sign of things going bad, so you need to check all the background news. Yeah, use the indicators, but also do a lot of research on the news. It might be the sign of a company has been investing all of its profits into expanding and have very promising plans for the future. Therefore, their figures do not look good in profits. A moving average and a lot of good news is an answer to that one. But you need the news. You need to understand why a stable company is appearing to have low profits. Of course, it could be they've got greedy directors who just want to go out on the lash and drink lots of champagne. In which case, well, maybe it's time to move on to another company. Okay, so do you sell or do you hold? Well, obviously only you can decide. Before you do, look into that security. If people are losing their trust, is it for a good reason or are they just scared? There's a lot of bad news mongering and people get very jittery and very nervous for the most ironic reasons. I used to sail a boat and be a sailing instructor. And quite often I'd look at a weather forecast. I'd be in a port and I'd look at a weather forecast. And I'll think, oh, okay, it's a little bit windy today. As the day goes on, the forecast says it's going to get better. That weather system will move on. And I'd be prepared to go. But around the harbour and the marina, there would be everyone convincing themselves that there'd be absolutely hell and brimstone out there. And they'd talk themselves into their own fear. So make sure that is what is happening. Okay, it takes a lot of courage to buy in a falling market on a security. It has a high risk, but if you've got all the data and you are well informed, then that's actually not that bad of a risk. If you look at IBM, Microsoft, British Telecom, General Motors, in each of their time they've filed some quite spectacular losses. I think General Motors holds the current record for filing the biggest loss on Wall Street. But they've all bounced back, and they bounced back quite spectacularly. So if you had trust in that company at that time, you could have bought their shares at an all-time low, and you'd be sitting very pretty now. Again, it comes down to do your research on the company. Okay, if you're investing short, you don't have the time and you can't do lots of research, in which case follow the indicators or consider changing it from short to a mid or a long. When you cut your losses or when to hold, as a short time trader, that's always a very difficult one to do. I would consider, if a security is going really volatile, consider changing it from a short to a mid or a long and give yourself time to do research on the company and see what is really going on. Finally, stocks and shares are a lot of fun, but remember, they do go up and down. Never risk more than you can afford to lose. If you have any questions or would like a topic covered, please contact me by email on pmfmrkana@protectmyfriend.co.uk. Happy investing, and I hope you do well.